G'day, I'm Stephen Page from Page Proven Family and Fertility Lawyers, and welcome to the Australian Family and Fertility Law Podcast. News from the United States is that another surrogacy agency, Surro Connections, has collapsed. I'm told, according to the news, that hundreds of intended parents are affected, that thousands and thousands of dollars have gone up in smoke, that the FBI has been raiding the place, that many of the records of the company, which collapsed apparently overnight, have been shredded, and that other agencies have stepped in to provide pro bono help. It's good that the FBI takes this action, and it's good that other agencies step in, but this is another example of an agency in the United States having collapsed, and with a long money trail behind it. Earlier this year, an escrow company, SEAM, collapsed, and it seems as though millions of dollars have gone missing there. There's certainly been an investigation by the FBI, and I understand it, civil litigation. So this is the second time this year that an agency with money involved in the United States dealing with surrogacy has collapsed. I had suspicions about Surro Connection when clients started talking enthusiastically about them some years ago. Something didn't seem to add up. It felt like a case of the magic pudding, that something seems to be too good to be true. It probably is, and I thought it was too good to be true in terms of what clients were saying about how much it cost and how things were organised. I was just suspicious, so I steered my clients away from Surro Connections. I've had clients undertake surrogacy in the United States since 2008, so the best part of 20 years, and I'm very careful if I have any say in it about where my clients go, and that's born from experience. Many years ago, Teresa Erickson did surrogacy for Australians. She was a prominent California attorney doing surrogacy work, so prominent she had her own TV show. But it was all a sham. She was certainly a very competent lawyer, and great for her for doing a TV show. But she got greedy and thought it was a great idea to traffic women. So couples would come to see her desperate to have a child through surrogacy, and her line was, well, you're just in luck. We had another case and it fell through and the surrogate is already pregnant. Well, it turns out that these women from the Ukraine weren't surrogates. They were already pregnant, but in effect, she was engaged in trafficking. So the FBI prosecuted her. She went to jail for fraud type offences, because they're easier to prosecute than trafficking offences, and thankfully no longer a lawyer. But there was another lawyer in California who ran her own agency, and that was to do with donation and surrogacy. And she told her clients, this is certainly well over 10 years ago, that she had her own escrow account. She didn't. She stole the money because it turns out she had a gambling habit. And subsequently, the FBI caught up with her and got prosecuted, and she ended up in jail. But I'll never forget the pain of the couple who came to see me, who said that they had spent 40,000 Australian with that lawyer, and that money was gone. And now they were seeking my help to enable them to become parents through surrogacy when it was so much harder. And I've seen another Australian couple who came to me and said, look, we found this surrogacy agency, and this surrogacy agency is wonderful. And the funny thing is, I knew nothing of this particular surrogacy agency. And I said, well, there are hundreds of surrogacy agencies in the United States. Because I haven't ever heard of this one, that means they have never worked with Australians, or they might be dodgy. I would be very careful in dealing with them. Well, lo and behold, they were the latter. The couple had been told that the money had been paid into escrow. It hadn't. And halfway through the surrogacy journey, when all their life savings had already been sucked from them for their surrogacy journey, they'd paid it all over, they discovered, lo and behold, that the owner took the money and ran. And they then had to come up with more money, because here is a pregnant surrogate who is entitled under her contract to payment. And of course, while they were the subject of this fraud, she was even more vulnerable position, because she's pregnant for them and entitled to be paid, and then suddenly at risk. So they were extremely stressed. So I've been very mindful after seeing each of these to make sure that my clients go to reputable places. And I can't guarantee that, but I can certainly minimise that. And I've never seen cases that I've recommended where the owner has ripped off money. When undertaking surrogacy in the United States, it's important to have a reputable escrow company, or if you are lucky enough to have a lawyer who has their own trust account. There are few lawyers who do that, not many. Most of the time it's escrow. It's an unknown concept in Australia, but it's like holding a trust account. And they are very few and far between, reputable escrow companies, but you've got to be very, very careful, and you've got to know the market. So you've got to be careful with these things. And what this case certainly demonstrates loud and clear, in my mind, is there needs to be regulation. There needs to be regulation of the industry in the United States. Recently, I spoke at the Society for Ethical Egg Donation and Surrogacy, the SEEDS conference in California, and that's the industry body. And what was said there generally was very, very good. It's clear that the industry is devoted to ethics. It's also clear to me that most of the industry is composed of women. About 75, 80% of those, there was close to 400 in attendance, were women, many of whom, if not most of whom, had previously been egg donors or surrogates. They're doing it for all the right reasons. But as we've seen in the past and this year, there are some who see desperate people with large pockets of money and want to take some more than their fair share of that. They're fraudsters, they're grifters. Intended parents need to be protected from them. Surrogates need to be protected from them. And egg donors need to be protected from them. There needs to be regulation. It needs to be careful. It needs to be thought through, and certainly not rushed, and certainly not driven by some ideological bias. But there needs to be some regulation in place so that these things stop happening. There will inevitably be another Surro Connections case where the next agency collapse. Everyone says, "What? This is shocking that this has happened. Why is this allowed to happen? Why was this not prevented?" The means to stop another event like this are available now if those who have the tools of power are willing to use them. Thank you for watching and listening to me, Stephen Page from Page Provan, Family and Fertility Lawyers. This is the Australian Family and Fertility Law Podcast. Goodbye.